Just yesterday on Facebook, someone asked me, Stacy, how can I tell if a stitch is twisted on the needle? And I thought, wow, I don't have a video out on that yet. And I knew we were shooting today, so what a perfect opportunity to show you the difference between correctly mounted and twisted stitches and how to correct that a couple different ways. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here I have my giant knitting sample, knit with, I think these are size 35 needles, and roving. This isn't even really yarn. This is what people use for needle felting or what people use to spin into yarn. But this is how I managed to get these huge stitches so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, we're talking about correctly mounted stitches. We're talking about stitches that have the right leg in front. And if you have maybe lost some stitches off the end of your needle or you had to do some ripping back, chances are that at least one or two of those stitches is going to be twisted, and I'm going to tell you how to recognize that. This is correctly mounted. If it's twisted, the right leg will be in back. Okay, that's what we're looking for. That's what I'm going to show you here. See here on this stitch, the right leg is in front and what would amount to the left leg going over the needle like this is in back, and that's how the stitch is mounted. So when we come across a stitch like that, it feels normal to knit, and you move on to the next one. An experienced knitter won't even have to look. An experienced knitter will be able to tell the difference by the feel. So let's go ahead and twist this one around the wrong way. You see here, the right leg is in back. And I'm working knitting here. I can correct this by either just twisting the stitch back around and putting it on the needle the correct way, or a fancy little trick I can do is I can just knit that stitch through the back loop. A normal stitch would go in like this. I can just knit it through the back loop, which will work the stitch and correct the twist at the same time. So again, here's a correctly mounted stitch, right leg in front, and here's a backward stitch, twisted, right leg in back. Okay, now if we're talking about purl stitches, this is exactly the same thing. A correctly mounted purl stitch will have the right leg in front, just like with a knit stitch. A twisted one will have the right leg in back. So if you encounter a twisted purl stitch, you have the same options you had with the twisted knit stitch. Say that 10 times fast. You can either twist it back around and place it on the needle correctly, or you can purl it through the back loop, which will work the stitch and untwist it at the same time. My working yarn's kind of coming from a funny place here because I turned in the middle of my work. Let me do a fancy wrap. Okay. So to purl through the back loop, this is a normal purl stitch. To purl through the back loop, I'm going to come at the stitch from behind like this. You kind of start with your needles pointing up like this and come at the back of the stitch from behind like this. So it looks like this. Then you wrap your needle and pull it through, and you have now worked the stitch and untwisted it. And that's it, correctly mounted versus twisted stitches and how to correct them.